One of the country's largest medical associations now saying it has some serious problems with President Obama's new health care regulations. The American Medical Group Association represents about 400 medical groups. That's about 1 in 3 Americans they provide coverage for. Now, 90% of those groups do not want to participate in these new rules. Now, why would that be the case? Dr. Mark Siegel, member of the Fox News Medical A-Team, is also the author of the new book, The Inner Pulse, and Dr. Kathleen London is a family practice physician. And good morning to both of you.
Morning, Bill.
I don't know where you guys come down on this. Ladies first.
Well, if you look at the concept of the ACO and where it's coming from, it's got the right direction. This is how the larger university groups and even Cleveland Clinic in Rochester and some of the others that are against it work.
Cleveland Clinic and the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, those are, that's the gold standard for medical care in America.
So the idea of accountability, of communication, and quality of care are all things we all want. The devil in this one is in the details. When you then, to a physician group in hospitals, say, oh, well, you need to have reinsurance, it's like, excuse me? It's not in our purview. And I think that's where we're getting the real pushback.
Help me understand this, Mark. It's too complex?
Well, here's why.
It's unworkable?
I agree with those statements. I'll tell you what the problem is. You can't just flash Cleveland Clinic or Mayo and say, we're going to be like them. They're a big culture. They built a network, and Dr. London's right. It's based on quality, but they are very careful who they hire. They've been doing this for many years. They look into patient feedback as an issue, which this doesn't include. The worst part of this accountable care organizations is they're not set up for patient feedback, but that's who determines quality, Bill. It's patients who say, hey, I didn't get taken care of well here.
I think that's where all this leads us.
Well, no, I have a bigger issue
is
on
what?
this. My bigger issue is there's nowhere in here is there any patient accountability. And when you're going to sit there and say, oh, well, you can go see any doctor you want, still, but they're going to hold us accountable for if they go doctor and go get repeated tests and everything else.
You both agree on this. What does this mean for patients,
I have an even
Mark?
bigger issue than this. Okay. Here's the largest issue of all. I love the word quality, but I think it's very tough to take care of very sick patients who you can't get better because you're going to be penalized for those patients. Doctors are going to, and these organizations are going to end up cherry-picking patients, Bill, because they're going to say, here comes another train wreck. We call them train wrecks. Here comes somebody with bad cancer. I can't get them better. Let's stay away from these patients because we're not going to get the bonus dollars.
That's not I think the bigger issue is the repetition of expensive testing and things like that. You know, where I'm at, Weill Cornell Medical Center, we are all connected. And even within that, when you have patients who have the ability to go wherever they want, whenever they want, there's still repetition of care, even when I have access to all the testing.
So you both see patients every day. Where does this group, which is significant in its own right, where does it take this new law?
Well,
can it force change?
By the way, I want to agree with something Dr. London just said. I absolutely agree that somebody's got to streamline the testing. But I'll tell you what the direction this is taking medicine in. Away from the private practitioner, away from the small groups. It's going to reward the large groups who have a business manager,
the
large
so
hospitals.
The doctors go to the hospitals and the hospitals
clinics,
team with other hospitals.
Long waiting lines like Massachusetts. It's going to be impossible.
If we have ways of communicating, even with the smaller groups, which is very feasible, especially with everybody who uses an EHR, then it's still possible to maintain that and would improve care. It's a matter of where you put the financial burden.
To both of you, thank you. Really appreciate your expertise. We're going to continue this into next week, okay? Kathleen London, thank you. Mark Siegel, the author of The Inner Pulse. Check it out now. It's a great book. Thanks.